morning. Good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Good evening to friends in North America, and hello to anyone watching on replay. My name is Nancy Hetker, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Australia. And today I'm going to be doing a pretty simple card using the Traditions of Christmas suite. And this is a new suite in our September to December mini catalog. One of the designer series papers, and some of the suite products are being shown here on the parcel that they've wrapped up here, the Prezi. And there's all kinds of great examples of the products being used, of course, and pictures of the products. All kinds of neat things that you can make. Lots of pages on this suite. It's a fairly big suite too. It's got a lot of things in it. I can show you here. I'm not going to use everything in my project today, but it's got two bundles, the traditional labels and the Christmas greenery, and this big 6-inch square wreath embossing folder, which they call traditional wreath 3D embossing folder. These really cool, what do they call them? Traditional sparkling sequins. And I wouldn't really call them sequins. I guess they are a little bit dimensional, but slightly cup-shaped glimmer circle dots. And I will use a couple of those. And then this ribbon that I'm not using today. So, yeah, if you're here, please do say hello. Facebook has realized their error and gone back to making it easy to see comments, so I can see that Gladys is here, and my mom, hello, and oh, Gladys, you got parts of the suite coming on Friday. Yeah, it's a very fun suite, and I'll show you what parts of it we're going to be using today. So here is the Christmas greenery stamp set and dies and a dimensional backing. They get everywhere. And I'm going to be using a die today, but not any of these stamps. And then there's traditional labels. And I'm going to be using the 'Tis the Season sentiment, and I'm not actually going to be using any of these dies today. And then this is a different bundle that's in the mini catalog, branching out. And a lot of times when we think of the pine branches, we do think of Christmassy things, but the sentiments are not particularly Christmassy. Wishing you a day filled with many happy moments. That could be kind of any day. To a very special someone, sent with lots of loves from our family to yours. That's appropriate for Christmas, but not only. Thinking of you brings joy to my heart. Hello, happiest birthday wishes, and friends. And, you know, yeah. So I'm happy to have both the stamp set and the dies. I am going to be using some of these label or frame dies. Those I'm very happy to have. And you've seen me, I've used some of these others on my blog entries too. So, and then I've got 2 sheets of the designer series paper I'm going to use. This has a coordinating die you'll see me use. And then this is what I'm going to use for some background. They're both have, well, the whole pack of paper is specialty paper because it's got this gold foil on one side, and then it's got these more neutral patterns on the back. And I love every single A and B side of this paper. I call this the A side and the B side. Yeah, so let's get stuck in, as we say here. So I'm going to cut out, I have a couple of these in particular I want with the various colors, color combinations. And not cut off the evergreen tip there. And I am going to save that, because who knows, I might do some scrappy strip cards at some point. So I'm just going to stick this in my scraps so I don't lose it. So I've got that one that I wanted, and then I want, it's the easiest way to get to one of these. I'm just going to go for that one. Some of these cards that I make, it won't matter which one of these I put on the card. Any of them will work. I particularly wanted these two because they have Pool Party in them. There we go. Get rid of that, because this designer series paper, it's really, really subtle, because the background is mostly hidden by the design, but the background on this is not white, it is Pool Party. So I wanted to kind of pull that together. And I will bring in my trimmer and cut some layers of this. Figure out which way I want it to go. I'm not sure it really matters, but let's go this way. And this is going to, I've got a card base, a cardstock layer, and then this is the third layer down. So for me, that's at 9.5 by 13.9. And in the US, that would be, in Canada, that would be a what, 3.75 by 5, I believe. And I'm going to go ahead, that's what, I'm going to cut that in half. Like so. Roughly in half. Hopefully straight. Not really. Okay. Set that aside. Now let's bring in my cut and emboss. This is the mini or the baby boss. And here is the coordinating die. I'm going to turn it this way for these guys. And a couple pieces of Post-it tape. And I'm just checking it's good down there, but it's pivoted off up here. So there we go. That's why I often use 2 pieces of tape, because it can pivot. Hey Sarah, thanks for popping in. Hope you enjoy the replay. Have fun with your mom. Okay, so there's one. And when you line them up, it's just so satisfying how good they look. This one would be really easy to mass produce. The most time-consuming part is the cutting out of these floral sprays, but you don't have to stamp them, you don't have to color them. That one I didn't get quite as nicely lined up down there at the bottom, but it will work just fine. Put the die away, and then I'm going to cut out, I'm going to use the third smallest die. Oh my goodness. Those creaks and cracks are perfectly normal. That'll be it for the die cutting. So, I'm going to do just a touch of stamping here with my sentiment. I have a cajillion, squillion strips of cardstock from when I cut down layers. I'm going to bring in some old olive. And stamp that. I'm actually doing, if you haven't figured out, I'm doing 2 cards. So there we go. Did I get my head in that shot? Nope, I managed not to. Hooray. Let's set that aside. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my layers. So I've got old olive. Now you can make your cards with a book fold over here on the side or a tent fold like I've got. You will see me 99% of the time, if it's optional which way it could go, and then I'm not doing a fun fold, I'm doing a full card front, I will do the tent fold merely because it is easier for me to make the photographs to go on my blog. But you can do your cards however you want because it's your card. Really don't know that it, whoops, makes a difference. Remember, we're layering. Sometimes cards can be really clean and simple, and sometimes they just seem like they're missing something, and if they're missing something, try adding a layer. And I'm calling this one a simple card because even though it's got all the layers, you know, there's not anything really complex beyond that. Some people may wonder if that's enough glue to hold everything together, and it is. It's one thing I love about the liquid glue. And I've decided I want to go ahead and work on the inside too. So we're going to go ahead and cut a couple more of these real red layers for the inside. You don't have to layer the inside. I don't always, even if I've layered the outside. But on this one, I'm going to. And I think I've talked before about how I like to keep pre-cut basic white layers. I keep 3 different sizes. I keep a quarter of the cardstock size. That's really quick and easy to grab for stamping or die cutting. I don't really use it as a layer on a card because it's the same size as a card base. And then I do this 1 step down layer that's you currently see in real red. And then I keep the second layer down that I'm using the basic white on, because those are the ones I use for layers on card fronts or especially in inserts on the inside of the card all the time. So if I'm watching a program or listening to an audiobook or something, those are really easy for me to just cut a pack of paper of basic white cardstock down into those 3 sizes and just have it on hand ready to go. And then remember the little extra bit. So like I said, I didn't manage to cut it straight, which bugs me. So I'm gonna see if I can rectify that. It's sometimes hard with these little bitty strips, but let's see what I can do here. The card is simple. Sometimes the steps are not. Sometimes it's just, it's still not really straight, but we're going to put it on there anyway. And I'm sure that one's not straight. Let's see how we go. If I don't put it right up against the edge there, it won't be so obvious. This is what I'm telling myself. Oh, I can see it on this side. I wonder if I can cut it by hand. Sometimes, I love our paper snips, but sometimes having a longer shear helps you get these things a little bit better. There we go. That helped with having, because if the polka dots are lined up straight, I can see where it's off. I don't care if they're the same width as each other, because no one's going to put them right up against each other. I do care if the line is more straight or not. There we go. I call you good. Really thin bead of glue. You could even just do dots along there, and as we smush it out, it just goes, just spreads out, doesn't ooze out, holds everything in place just fine. And then I'm looking as I lay this down, do I have an even border of the old olive showing? Which is one reason I turn it this way. I find it easier to see all three in one go. And I'm holding it at an angle. The glue is not touching anything. And I'm holding it all the way down. I know people who get it part way and then drop it and then it lands crooked and they're like, oh, it's crooked. So there we go, outside, inside. And then we've got our die cut sprays. Some dimensionals on these. And then we're going to glue this flat. Taking a moment to align this on my grid paper, just because if all the lines are straight, then it helps me line this up straight. Really, it does. Okay, there's one. And again, we've got this pool party that's coordinating with the pool party back there, the greens, the reds, all of that. Even if you don't think your eye is working really hard at all those lines, it is. Your brain is doing it. Okay, so there are those layers. And now we're going to bring in I stamped it and set it aside. Here we go. My sentiment strip. Gonna go this way, I think. And then a way to get the same angle is just to lay it on top, and you probably can't see it, but I can see through just enough to see where it's lined up. And now I can cut it using this as a guide. And I've got the same angle. I got it a little closer than I probably wanted. So much for all of that, right? There we go. 'Tis the season. And I'm just going to put, I'm going to use the minis at each end and just lay that over the top. Like that. same thing on this one. There we go. And now bring in just a couple of these. I haven't used these before, so let's see how they go. Put that one up at the top. Heavier one at the bottom. And there we are. So, if you have any questions, well, let me tell you first. These will be on my next blog post, which you can find at nancysniftynotes.com. If you have any questions, would like for me to be your demonstrator here in Australia and help you get the supplies to do this or any other crafting project you have in mind, or you need help finding a demonstrator elsewhere in the world, reach out to me, Nancy at nancysniftynotes.com, and I will be happy to help you. If you're here on my Facebook page, you can message me through it and I will get back to you. Yeah, so I have an idea to do a fun fold card with basically the same, taking this card into a fun fold that I'm going to come back with next week, I believe. So if you want to see that, be sure to join me again next week. Yeah, I'll be back same time, same place. I hope to see you then. Thanks for joining me today. Bye-bye.